what the policy, what's the end game and understanding, that citizens, how they should understand that policy and those rules. Because people are really concerned about why they as individual citizens cannot hold the state liable for injury or death.
And I think both of those are legal questions that we can help maybe get you in contact with.
How about some legal answers?
Next time.
That's what we're here for.
When you come to the Capitol, bring your mom and dad, your kids, your significant other, 6 people, and one of them decides to carry a sign. Are you going to get a permit?
I can't. I'm trying to think of any opportunity I have to do that. If I had a question in mind as to whether or not somebody could consider that a rally, I probably would. I don't know that everybody would. But if you ask me,
30 days to bring your family to the Capitol.
we're talking about a
6 people
hypothetical, but when I
piece
would.
of paper that says.
Well, it depends on if it says God bless America or not.
I think whatever for me personally, if I thought there was a question about it, I would probably consult with the Capitol Police. And if it looked like I needed a permit, I'd go through the application.
What if you're walking through the Capitol to get to State Street? Would you do it in those circumstances?
No, I would. If I was just walking through the
I'll let you
Capitol,
go first.
I wouldn't.
What if you decide to stop and talk?
Again, we're talking hypotheticals, and I'm not going to.
Well, but see, these are before. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Does this event have a permit?
It does.
And did you get this permit 30 days ahead?
I submitted it 72 hours.
May I ask a question?
Okay,
sir?
actually, Tim first.
Thank you. If these policies have in essence been extant for all this time, and this is merely a clarification of existing policies, why is it that the Solidarity Sing-Along has been conducted 280 times or whatever it is, close to that, without a problem? Why weren't we ushered out? Why was there no enforcement of this policy extant prior to now?
And I think that's one of the issues that we have, that we should be more consistent in requiring a permit. We didn't. Those were unusual set of circumstances, and we recognize that that's an issue that we need to resolve, that if people are going to be participating in that, they should
And
have
I
a permit.
also receive complaints that I allow the Solidarity
And we
Singers.
love you for doing it.
And I appreciate it, but I also receive complaints. I've allowed the Solidarity Singers to come every day and sing without a permit, and I make everyone else.
You
get a
allowed
permit.
them?
You are
More like the
properly not
First Amendment of the United
Okay,
States
you know what?
Constitution gives them the right to do it. They don't need to be allowed
See,
to do it.
I allow everyone to speak, and I don't interrupt. I'm not a rude person. I want to respond to that. We have allowed. Now I'm getting complaints that I'm treating people differently and fairly. I'm allowing you to come in every day and sing, and everyone else is directed. We're trying to be fair. We're trying to be as fair as possible as we can. So I'm just letting you know that's out there.
This is a smirk. You people are ridiculous.
And I'm not. And no one's trying to run you guys out, and no one's been rude to you or been disrespectful. You know, the officers has been very professional to each and every one of you, and everyone who comes here.
But I don't think that's going to continue, Chief, and that's the problem.
Excuse me, I'd like to leave the
No,
minister chair
seriously.
to support my
Because you now
back.
suddenly have
That
these
will help
new
me.
policies, very
Thank you.
odd, really Stalinist policies, that suddenly say free speech is not allowed if there are 4 or more people. You are going to be compelled, Chief, whether you want to or not, it seems to me, to enforce these new policies that, by the way, have not been reviewed by the legislature under the new law, I'm certain. You're going to be compelled to enforce those, whether you wish to or not. And that's going to happen now. And I don't know why it's going to happen now when it didn't happen before. This is clearly designed to shut down this speech. There's no question about it.
It is. We're trying to ensure that everybody has the opportunity to exercise those.
That's been
Has there
functioning
been a
fine without
specific incident?
today.
Is there been a specific incident where someone was prevented from using the Capitol because of a non-permitted activity?
I have had people honestly tell me they won't come because of the singing that's going on. They will not. Please. See, you see what I mean?
No, go ahead.
But here's what I want to say. I've had people tell me they will not put in for a permit. They will not come up here. They will not bring their families up here. And we've had actually schools say, some, not many, but some say, we're not going to come up because of the event that goes on. You know, they need a permit. Why don't you make them get a permit? I'm just being open. You asked me the questions, and I want to go back to one thing I said earlier, and this is the gospel truth. A number of you, some of you, have said to me, give us the rules. Tell us what the rules are. This is what we're trying to do now. We keep referring to chapter 2. And people have said to me, what is chapter 2? What is the administrative code? We don't know where to find that and where it's about. Give us the rules so we can follow the rules, so we can be in compliance. Honest to God, this is what this is about.
So chapter 2 includes provisions about 4 or more people and includes costs for...
The sing-along lasts for an hour every day. Can't those people come at the, 23 other hours?
And I think that's what we're looking to do, is
In the
ensure that
day?
everybody has that opportunity to have their event at a specific time, and that no one group, and whether it's a group you agree with or disagree with, monopolizes that time.
Solidarity Singers have a policy in place that they have honored every time to clear the space when requested. So we have a policy going. You should have a policy of equal respectability. You don't.
I'd like to ask a question actually to these protesters against this policy, and maybe if I could direct it especially to Representative Taylor, because she kind of spoke to this rather directly. A lot of talk about constitutional rights, overly broad laws, policies, rules, regulations. And it's been mentioned a couple times, we don't know what other states. People have asked, well, what are other states doing? But we are familiar with what happens in Washington, D.C. at our national capital. We can all agree that there are lots and lots of people in this country who would be in our national capital all the time, every minute of every day of every year, if they could, singing, protesting, shouting, yelling, disrupting, doing whatever they could. The reason they're not there is because the authorities in the District of Columbia do not let them be there. So I would just like to ask, why is it beyond your comprehension that the authorities, the police, the DOA, the judicial system here in Madison, why is it that they wouldn't be able to do what the authorities in Washington, D.C. clearly do in order to keep a capital that is available for its intended purposes and not as a protest?
Thank you. I think, let's stop there, because Representative Taylor, I appreciate it. If you want to ask
No,
that
I'm
question,
finished.
That's fine.
Answer the question. It's not.
This wasn't.
You can identify
She's not
yourself.
the one that-
I'm sorry. I'm John Schaefer. I've been a counter-protester at the sing-alongs. And I'm sorry, what else did you ask?
If you have a question, direct it to him.
Oh, well, I'm just wondering why they're not understanding this. Okay.
And I think what we've gotten to the point is, I understand, number one, looking for more clarification, particularly on the 4 and more, what that means. I appreciate that. There's some questions still about what's legal and what isn't, and if there's legal challenges to take place, again, not going to happen in this forum, so I'm not going to be able to answer that.
So is she willing to answer?
Yeah, I would say just take that separately.
All right,
if that's
sure.
all right.
I'm really interested.
Yeah, we've had another meeting before. She's a great lady. We don't always
All right.
agree, but she's very receptive and easy to talk to. So.
I have
Yes,
a key
2 quick
question.
questions. 2 quick
So
questions.
I'm going to wrap this up pretty quick.
Okay, these are quick. One, when schools apply for a permit to bring students here, will the parents be made aware of the fact that if their children are hurt or killed on the premises, that they have no opportunity to file a lawsuit or to get any sort of recourse? That's my first question, and then I have another question.
Okay, I think what is in the policy they'll have to interpret, but we'll, again, we're going to have to clarify some
It's
of that.
clearly stated. I'm just asking if parents will be informed, because then they might take that into
I think
consideration.
whoever takes out the permit has the responsibility to let people know what the conditions of the permit
And are these rules provided to anybody who takes out a permit, so they'll know that the state is taking absolutely no responsibility?
When you sign the permit application, it says that you read and understand.
Okay, and I also have, not to harp on the public record thing, but it's an important thing to me. As I said, you are not permitted by law to ignore verbal public record requests, and there have been several requests made during this meeting, and I'm just wondering who's writing those down.
If there's any public record request that you are requesting, talk to me. I'll write down your name and
They've been stated already to Chief Tubbs, and you have been.
I've been chasing people down, but
Okay.
while I'm writing, if I've missed one,
I'm just asking.
We have a staff that goes on public records constantly. We are
Good.
bending over backwards. If you have anyone that you know of that hasn't gotten responded to, please call me. Please talk to me.
Thank you.
Happy to do it.
Thank you.
I'll take one more.
Why? This goes until 11.
Why are you
Because
running
we're
off?
rehashing the same things over.
It doesn't matter. It goes to
Nobody's
nobody's
answer.
answer.
Very different question. I want you.
No, wait, let Stacy.
So, hi, for those of you who came later, my name is Stacy and I work with the American Civil Liberties Union at Wisconsin. I do want to thank you guys for being here. I know this was putting you guys on the hot seat and there are still a lot of questions that are remaining. We're interested also in that list of open records requests. We're working with local attorneys to respond to these issues. So we'd like to know what that list is as well, so please contact us. I think that what I've learned from this conversation is that our original reaction to these rules is the same. We really feel that these rules are too restrictive. We believe that it gives police too much discretion to pick and choose what happens in this building. And we also believe that this is too obviously a response to the recent demonstrations that are critical of our current administration. And so you'll be hearing more from us as this goes along, as these things still continue to work out in courts. And one final request that I do want to make, it was brought up before, but I do think it's important. While it's great to have public information officers from the DOA here, for future issues, we really need to have an attorney here to answer these very valid questions. We can't kick the can for a future challenge.
Can I ask you specifically, because and there's, I'm not an attorney, but I know there are restrictions around what they can say when and where. If your attorney is willing to work with ours and speak with them about the different issues they have, that can be a very important dialogue. So you guys deal with these issues all the time as well. So I think that'd be very helpful.
As citizens, we have the right.
Okay.
In all due respect, again, if you haven't seen Administrative Code Chapter 2, take a look at it. Like I say, a lot of these things that we're talking about today are covered. And I want to honestly say the officers have used discretion from the beginning of the year to now, and will continue to use the discretion. And I think overall, we've had a peaceful, a uneventful, negative situation here, and a lot of it's been due to the cooperation of the citizens, and also the discretion and the professionalism of law enforcement. So I want to make sure we don't cloud that over. That discretion has always been there and will be there. Okay.
And we'll continue to watch to make sure that discretion doesn't go.
What happens when they fire you, Chief Tubbs, because you're not enforcing the new rules, is going to be bad. Because you know that that's what they're going to try to do. Because you have handled the situation beautifully, and they don't like that. They want more aggression, and it's true. You will see it happen if he gets fired.
Essentially, within the Department of Administration, the Capitol Police are part of that. We're proud of the job that the Capitol Police have done. There's a difficult position they've been put in, and I think they've been criticized on both sides. Typically, that means you're probably doing something right.
We don't criticize them.
So others, well, I've heard
we think he's doing a great
I've heard
job.
from other groups, and that's the key. I appreciate the input. We'd like to get voluntary compliance, and that's what this was about. To try to discuss what the process and the policy was. Again, I'm sorry that I can't answer, and this isn't the right forum to answer the
Are you going to
on that.
answer before, just so I know if getting arrested should stay in my book, are you going to issue these more specific rules and clarifications before December 19th?
I don't know what research is going to have to be done on that, so I don't want to
So
make a promise.
we're basically, we don't know what the consequences of our actions will be.
We do not.
We do not. I mean, am I interpreting that correctly?
Yes.
Since he doesn't want to?
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing.
Please answer
We'll give the chief the same decision-making on the ground as to what needs to be done.
So we might get arrested, we might not get arrested, we might be in handcuffs, we might not. Chief Tubbs may just talk to us as he has in the past. We don't have any way of knowing.
Again, we'll cross that when we get to it.
I have a question about how you define who's part of the group. There's no definition in here about how you define and how you would later identify membership in that group and assigning this responsibility for costs or any other consequences.
Okay.
How do you do that?
No, I appreciate the question.
There's nothing
More
there.
clarification about that.
It's completely worthless because there's nothing in here to define who it applies to.
Again, I think what we're trying to do is get...
Well, you're not succeeding in what I'm saying. There's huge gaps in this. So you need to go fix them before you can do a completely flawed policy.
And again, when we put out the policy to provide something for people to work with, and then to begin the conversation...
You should have put it out as a draft for discussion. That's how democracy works.
To begin the conversation with the Capitol Police so that we can determine those kind of issues.
Can I say one other thing? I keep hearing about the 16, and we got it marked in the books. I would actually, as I've done, I would plead with you, I'd even go as far as I always said, please.